Hello, everyone. Welcome to 2D Board Gamers. My name is Dave,
And I'm Dirk.
and today we're going to look at our last X-Men. This is Rogue. She was in Mutant Genesis. After this, we've wrapped up the Mutant trilogy, and we will move on to Sinister Motives for the next video.
Web Warriors and Champions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Rogue is probably one of my favorite of the X-Men, and she's got a very unique ability. And this video is going to be significantly different than our other heroes.
Because of that ability. She also has a very unique Nemesis set as well, too, which we'll go over.
Right. But first, let's go over her kit cards.
All right. So
Anna Marie.
Here we've got Anna Marie. She is a mutant. She has 3 recovery. She's got a hand size of 6 and 11 hit points. And then during setup, you set aside your touched upgrade card, which we'll get to that in a second. And as a forced response, withdrawn. So after you change to this form, you set your touched aside. So you'll use the touch and you set it aside whenever you flip over to alter ego, because it is a hero thing.
But on her hero side, she's a 2/2/2 and 5 hit point. 5 hand size, 11 hit points. She's got skin contact. Action. Attach the touched to another character. You gain the attached character's traits until the end of the round.
Yeah, I thought he was going to hit me.
So now you're bald.
Yeah.
Congratulations. And then force response. After the player phase begins, find touch and set it aside. All right, so what is this touch card we keep hearing about? Well, let's take a look at it.
All right, so touched. It is a permanent upgrade. It is a condition. If touched is attached to a minion, Rogue gains the overkill. Rogue's attacks gain overkill. If it's attached to a villain, the attacks gain retaliate, or Rogue gains retaliate. If it's an ally, she gains the aerial trait, and if it's a hero, she gains stalwart.
And she also gains the traits that the ally has too. So
yes,
that's going to be very important when we get to that.
Yes, which I don't think the card actually says that, does it?
No, it's on her hero card.
Yeah, it does not, but yes, it does say it.
All right. So her signature ally is Gambit.
Oh yeah, the traits.
Of course. He's a 3-cost ally, 2 thwart, 2 attack, 3 hit points. X-Men. Gambit enters play with 3 charge counters on him, so very similar
because he charged a card.
Kind of similar to the Gambit hero. When Gambit attacks, remove 1 charge counter from him, deal 1 damage to an enemy. And it doesn't have to be the same enemy that he's attacking, which is nice.
Correct.
So it's a great way. It's like, I'm going to attack this guy. Oh, can you knock the tough off? Sure, I'll use the charge to knock the tough off. Right. And then the team up card is go ahead.
Beauty and the Thief. So it's a 2-cost event. It's a thwart and attack both. But you team up with Gambit and Rogue. It is a hero action. So you deal 4 damage to an enemy and remove 4 threat from a scheme. So I love how it does both.
Right. And that works with the Gambit ally, or if someone's playing a Gambit hero, of course. All right. Then Rogue's Jacket. It's a 1-cost upgrade. It's an item. While touch is attached to a friendly character, Rogue gets +1 thwart. When touch is attached to an enemy character, Rogue gets +1 attack. So that's pretty nice, So the touch, it depends on if you want her to be thwart-centric, she would do an ally or another hero. And if you want her to be attack-centric, then it's going to be a villain or a minion that she touches.
Yep.
All right, so then we got...
Okay, so then we've got 3 copies of Going Rogue here. It is a 2-cost event. It's a thwart superpower. As a hero action, you can remove 3 threat from a scheme. If she has the aerial trait, which she gets that from touching an ally. So if she's touching an ally, you remove 2 additional threat. If she has retaliate, you confuse the enemy, and she gets the retaliate from a villain, touching a villain. And if she has stalwart, you can draw a card, and that's how you get for touching a hero.
All right. And then her attack card is the Southern Cross. It's a 3-cost event. Attack, superpower, hero action, attack. Deal 6 damage to an enemy. If Rogue has aerial, this attack deals 2 additional damage. Retaliate, stun that enemy. Stalwart, draw a card.
Yep. So I love how these kind of like add on to the to what she's already getting from touching. Then we've got Energy Transfer here. 2 copies of this. It's a 2-cost event. It's a superhero. You can attach touch or superpower. Sorry, superpower. Yes. Well, she's a superhero, but superpower. So you attach touch to a character other than Rogue and deal 2 damage to that character. You heal 2 damage from Rogue and ready her. You gain each of the attached characters' traits until the end of the round. So now this is interesting because you can actually use this and damage an ally or a minion. But if you do that, to heal yourself, but so you're of course going to want to make sure that that player is okay with that if it's another player's. But it's a way to keep Rogue around if you need to, or you can do it, attach it to an enemy, and then that way you're damaging them at the same time.
All right. And then her defensive event is Bulletproof Bell, a 1-cost event.
2 copies of it.
2 copies. Yeah. Defense, superpower, hero interrupt defense. When an enemy with a touch attached to it attacks, prevent all damage from that attack and gain a tough status.
So yeah, I love that. So that actually protects you for 2 attacks. It's a pretty sweet card. Then we've got 3 copies of Superpower Adaptation. That's a 0-cost event. Superpower. But if, as a hero action, if touched is attached to a friendly character, then you search its owner's discard pile for an event that belongs to the same classification as that character. So either identity specific, aspect, or basic. And you add that event to your hand. So this was an interesting card in the way it worked, and we had a lot of fun with this one whenever it first came out because it allows you to play off-aspect cards, was really fun to do, or play somebody else's identity-specific card.
Yeah, that's the fun part. Is like when you're multiplayer and you touch it to the other hero, then if they've got some hero events, either you could help that hero get another use of that if it benefits them specifically, or if it just says get X, then Rogue would get it.
Yeah.
Even if it's, a Gambit card or something.
But it is events, so no, you can't grab their persona supports.
Yeah.
So no Aunt May for Rogue.
Yeah. All right.
All right, so then we move on to our obligation here. Obligation is the Deadly Touch, which is so fitting for Rogue. You give it to the Anne-Marie player, and if touched is attached to a friendly character, you deal 2 damage to that character and discard the card. If it's not attached to a friendly character, then you place 2 threat on the main scheme and discard it. So yeah, it does its thing, and then it gets discarded, so it does not go away.
All right, and then her nemesis is Mystique, of course. One scheme, 1 attack, 6 hit points. Brotherhood of Mutants, elite, tough, villainous. Force response. After Mystique engages you, search the encounter deck, discard pile, and set aside area for a copy of the Misled Treachery and shuffle it into your deck. So it's kind of similar to the Mystique encounter set.
Yep, and we'll get to those in just a second. So the side scheme here for the Nemesis is Mystique's Manipulation. So it has a acceleration token on it, and it comes in with 2 threat per player. But when defeated, you search the encounter deck and discard pile for a copy of the Misled Treachery and shuffle it into your deck. So she really likes bringing this. Nemesis set really likes to bring this card out, and there's 3 copies of it.
Yeah. So this is the card I'm alluding to. It's a shapeshifter. Like Dirk said, it's got 3 copies. When revealed, shuffle this card into your deck. This card gains Surge. Force response. After this card enters your hand, place 2 threat on the main scheme. You may discard this card from your hand at the end of the player phase like any other card. So you're going to have 1 less card that you can use for that turn.
1 less card and 2 threat on the main scheme.
And then you would discard it into the encounter. So yeah, and you're adding threat.
I mean, and it says you may. I can't see any reason why you wouldn't discard that, but who knows? Maybe somebody's out there that really, really wants to hurt themselves.
Yeah. So you throw in Rogue versus Mysterio with the Mystique modular set, and you're going to have...
I've played that game. That sucked.
All right. Now... we're going to go over, there's a couple of cards that are useful for her, and then we're going to go into the new things. So,
yep.
All right. So the first thing is we're going to show a couple cards that are useful for Rogue, no matter what aspect she ends up being. So the first one
that came to mind here was Death Focus. So it's a 1-cost upgrade. It's a skill, max 1 per player. As a hero action, you can exhaust it and reduce the resource cost of the next superpower card you play this turn by 1. Now, the reason why this is so great for Rogue is of the 15 cards in her kit, 13 of them are superpowers. Now, there are 3 of them that are 0 cost, so it won't help with those. But so that still means 2/3 of her kit, this will help you reduce the cost of playing them.
And she's got a lot of events. So X Gene's another good card. It's 1-cost upgrade. Play only if your identity has the mutant trait, max 1 per player. Resource, exhaust X gene, generate a wild resource for an identity specific.
So with those two, you can play almost any card in her deck.
Yeah.
Right there. I mean, there's a couple of there's the Southern Cross costs 3. Everything else is 2 or less. As far as all the rest of the superpower events.
Okay.
So great combination there for her.
All right. So grab the touch card for a second. It's up on.
There we go. There's the touch.
Okay. So because of the nature of touched and her hero power, she can pretty much gain any trait in the game. So that makes almost every single hero or aspect card and basic card available to her. So instead of going through all the cards, we would be going through almost every single card in the game.
We're not going to do that.
We're not going to do that, but we are going to go over some of the different aspects in a minute.
And some of the cooler cards, some of the cooler combinations you can do with that, or that we think at least.
But we're going to show first the only few cards she could not have. So one of them is the Gambit ally because she
already has her own copy who is arguably better.
Right. This Gambit is pretty cool though. 3 cost ally, X thwart, X attack, 3 hit points, thief, X-Men. X is the number of boost icons on the card under Gambit. Response, after Gambit enters play, look at the top 3 cards of the encounter deck and tuck one under him so that only the boost field is visible.
So we have seen the tuck keyword before.
Yep.
Okay.
Right. The other one, of course.
Well, rogue. She can't have herself, I guess. But so this one, it's 4 cost protection ally. And thwarts for 2, attacks for 2, and as an action can deal 1 damage to another friendly character till the end of the round. Rogue gains each trait of that character, so it's very similar as far as to the hero and gaining the traits. But then she adds that character's printed thwart and attack to her matching powers. So it's a little bit different there, but so those definitely you can't play Rogue and Gambit because you've already got those.
And then the third is a type of card, and that would be just a team up card that her name is not on.
Yeah,
so Beauty and the Thief she can play, but any other team up card she cannot play. So,
yeah, because they have she gets the traits but not the names.
Right. So that one is for Cindy Moon and Peter Parker specifically. Okay. So now we're going to go over the new part of this video. Okay. So our first example would be, say she has the Vivian ally. So Vivian has 3 traits: Aerial, Android, and Champion. So Aerial she gains by just touching an ally.
She would automatically gain that from touching any ally, even if they don't have the trait. However, if a hero has the Aerial trait or an enemy has the Aerial trait, she can get it from them as well. So she can gain the trait without touching an ally.
Okay. And you can build any aerial deck, just like we've had lots of aerial deck examples. See our Angel review.
Yep.
Or when we talked about Falcon, so that's aerial. Android, however, she would gain the Android trait, and that would make her qualified for this reboot event.
So the reboot 1 cost event, it's after ready a friendly android character and heal 1 damage from it. So if you've given her the android trait, then she can ready yourself and heal 1.
Yeah.
So that's obviously something she doesn't normally do.
Right.
And so, but healing in hero form is always nice.
Right. And now she has access to this card.
Yep.
Okay. The other trait that Vivian gave is Champion, which would.
So this gives you Go for Champions, which is a 3 cost event, max 1 per deck. You can only play it if you have the champion trait. So, of course, if you touch the champion, you get it. But as a hero action, each champion character in play cannot take damage until the end of the round. That's pretty cool. Now, what they don't have on the card here, that was kind of, I guess, errated afterwards or whatever, is that once you play this card, it's removed from the game.
Right.
So you can't keep using this card over and over again unless there's multiple copies in the game.
Right. And then, of course, being a champion, then she qualifies for any other card that says you must be a champion, like the Wasp.
But if you're
the Wasp ally from Justice.
But if you're playing with a hero that's got champions, then you can put a copy in their deck, and you can put a copy of yours because you have to be a champion to play it, but not to build a deck with it.
Right.
So.
All right. So that is Android and Champion. All right. The next ally. This one's a little different because you can get around this, but so if you had Cannonball in your deck.
So Cannonball comes with the Aerial and the X-Force traits. So what's cool about that is that allows you to play one of my favorite cards in the entire game with the X-Force trait. That is the IPAC. So yeah, it is one you can't play as an X-Men, but this gives her the ability to play that. Now there is another way to do that, and I think Dave's got that card ready as well. You can do that with Children of the Atom, played on her because she's an X-Men and she can automatically gain the X-Force trait, so it makes it a little bit easier. But if you're using X-Force allies, then you can use her to do that and without putting the extra card in your deck. Kind of depends on how you want to play it, but I love this card. Any opportunity I get to play this card, I'm taking it.
Yeah, if you didn't want Cannonball in your deck for some, then you could use the Children of the Atom, which gives you
Yeah.
the traits without having to go
Yeah,
through.
and we see Cannonball. There's any number of. We're not going to go through every ally, and we're not going to go through all the aspects. We're kind of using the basics just because that covers most of the aspects or most of the keywords in the game.
Okay, so next. All right, so the next trait is Asgard. So so like if you had Heimdall in your deck, you could touch Heimdall. Now you gain the Asgard trait, which gives you access to 2 more cards.
Yeah, so the first one here is Godlike Stamina. So it's a 0-cost event. You've got to have the Asgard trait to play this one, but you can heal 2 damage from your identity and then discard a status card. So it's basically like it's a 0-cost one-shot on the Night Nurse, kind of.
Yeah.
But for any trait because it's basic. So that's phenomenal.
And the other card you can qualify for is the Bifrost. 1-cost support, Asgard location, play only if your identity has the Asgard trait. Action, exhaust the Bifrost, search your deck for an Asgard ally and play it, paying its cost. Shuffle your deck. So you would actually have to play around this, and you would want to have a lot of Asgard allies.
But you could so do an Asgard ally heavy deck.
Yeah.
You use this to bring more allies out, and then you can keep that to guarantee that you have a godlike stamina available for you.
Right.
So yeah, that's really nice.
All right. So the next trait we want to talk about is Avenger. So like War Machine would be a good example as Avenger and Shield. But one thing that is kind of nice with is if you're doing this, you could put the honoraries, and so this would work for X-Men and X-Force as well, and you would retain that trait when you're an alter ego as well,
And it gives you the trait permanently.
and you have the trait permanently. Yeah, so like you touched an Avenger, you don't have this card in your hand, Quinn Carrier, but now you are an Avenger, so you could play Avenger later on. And
Yep.
it works with honorary X-Men, honorary X-Force, all those. Now, the reason why you'd probably want to put an honorary Avenger, and you get +1 hit point, which is nice, is the Avengers have with the first trait in the game. So we have a lot of events, depending on what aspect you play, but you have to be an Avenger. So this way you don't have to touch the Avenger ally. You put honorary Avenger on yourself, and now you qualify for. So this
You can do that or by doing the touch. Either way. You can
yeah.
do it either
So
way.
this is an attack card.
So the attack version, you've got it in Justice here with running interference.
The
You've got
thwart
it in
version.
the thwart in leadership with United We Stand.
That's for healing.
Yep. And then
You also qualify for Stinger, so which gives you an extra ally.
yeah, because she doesn't count against your limit, so that's
Right.
nice. And then Muster Courage is the protection version of it that gives tough cards.
Yep. The other trait that War Machine gives you is Shield, but I don't think there's any specific cards that requires you to be Shield to play them. So,
Yeah, at least not off the top of our heads. We can't think of anything offhand.
but there's something that says discard a
Yeah, where you get a
exhaust
benefit.
Shield character or something. Yeah, so you
Yeah.
can get that. And this trait is just for fun. You don't really get any benefits from it, but if you put Blade, yeah, you can. It's another way to get the Avenger and cheaper than War Machine, but you get Vampire.
I'd love to see Rogue as a vampire. We need more vampire cards just so we can do that deck.
Right. So if you just want the Avenger trait, since the War Machine Shield really doesn't give you anything, I'd probably put Blade in over War Machine because
Yeah, because he's cheaper.
he's cheaper and you could be a vampire. I'll be a
I
vampire.
don't think she's going to talk like that, though.
Probably not. So now the next trait is Web Warrior. There are a lot of Web Warrior allies that require you to have another Web Warrior. So
One of them, for example, is Spider Ham, who's not only, if you have the Web Warrior, you can play him, but then you get the fun little cartoon keyword, which does nothing but, like Vampire, it's fun.
right. But yeah, and then with Web Warrior, there's all sorts of cards that, I mean, if you want to make a Web Warrior heavy deck with Rogue, you just have to have the initial way to become a Web Warrior and stay as a Web Warrior, or at least have a Web Warrior card out.
Yeah, then
Like
and once you get one
Spider-Man,
out,
for
you can
example.
just keep them out.
Yeah.
Keep them out. But
Right.
yeah,
And so this is one where you don't necessarily need to use your touched to keep it going.
just to get started,
Just
probably.
to get started. Yeah. Okay, so the next one, well, we've already talked about champion, but Moon Girl here would give you genius. Now, you would either have to be, yeah, you'd have to be a champion or a genius to play it. So you would want another champion in your deck to become a champion to do this. But after Moon Girl, after you play Moon Girl from your hand, draw one card for each mental resource used to pay for her. Now, the turn you want to touch Moon Girl would be the turn that you have this card in your hand. So this is Ingenuity, 2-cost upgrade. Play only if your identity has a genius trait, max 1 per player. Exhaust Ingenuity to generate a mental resource.
And if I remember it, all of the heroes that have genius have it in alter ego. I don't think anybody has it in hero form. So Rogue is unique in the fact that she's the only hero that can have genius.
Yes, in hero form.
In hero form,
because it's not very smart to put on a spandex suit and fight crime, apparently. So that genius. So that's another fun one you could play with. Okay, another fun one that doesn't really give you anything, but you can have another trait is Cyborg. It's like cartoon. It's like
have Deathclaw, Spider-Ham, and Blade out, and you can be a cybernetic cartoon vampire.
Yeah, when
you cyborg cartoon
vampire. The card that allows you to.
There's a card that allows you to touch multiple people. So
so you can have all the crazy traits.
Yeah.
And but then hey, the strength and diversity card that's coming in Falcon's kit,
there you go. Now you got a reason to do something wacky.
There's a use to be a cartoon cyborg vampire.
There you go. I like it.
Ally is Atlas Bear. She's got 2 keywords, so Posse and Wakanda. So we'll go over each of them separately.
So we'll do Posse first.
So Posse would allow you to qualify
as a member of the Posse.
Right.
So this one is cool because you can heal a damage from each Posse character that you control and ready them. You do have to have 3 Posses in play, but I mean, the Posses don't require you to be in Posse to play them, just to be able to utilize this card. But if you're building with a couple of Posses, definitely a nice one to have in there because you can ready and heal.
Right. So we have 3 basic Posse allies, and then the others are Domino signatures. So,
yep.
All right. So bring Atlas Bear back for a second. Which Dirk doesn't mind because it's one of his favorite allies. So the other trait is Wakanda. So you can do a couple fun things with Wakanda trait. So one is if you're playing with the Shuri player, now you qualify for Queen Ramonda's power. So you if you're an alter ego,
actually,
you could be healed.
You wouldn't, because if you're an alter ego, you lose it.
No, it's for the rest of the turn. Rest of the phase.
Oh, that's right. You lose the touched card, right? You keep the trait.
So you got to.
That is right. This is a timing thing.
You got to time this right because the Shuri player would have to be an alter ego. Like if she's the second player and you're the first player, say, then you would touch Atlas Bear, gain the Wakanda trait, go to alter ego, and then
Shuri is Wakanda in alter ego though, so you can do that.
Yeah, or you can touch Shuri. That's true. And then another one that goes with Wakanda just because it's fun. Dora Milaje. So Okoye's power and the Dora Milaje power says choose a Wakanda hero or ally. So you would get that benefit if you had the Wakanda trait.
Yeah. So if you were to touch Okoye, you get the Wakanda trait. You get those the plus attack and thwart. So that's a pretty cool little combination there.
Yep. The next trait is Guardian, which is another big one, like the Avengers. So Star-Lord is the way that you can get into it, which will allow you to qualify for some of the other Guardian allies.
Is a Groot and Rocket both require a Guardian to be able to play them.
This is another aspect similar to the Avengers where I would recommend Honorary Guardian.
Yeah, if you're going to do this little combination, definitely you're going to want to do this so that you can maintain it without having to touch a Guardian every time.
Right, because then you're qualified for a bunch of events. Right?
So for the Justice card, you've got Welcome Aboard, or Leadership card, Welcome Aboard, which reduces cost of allies. Think Fast is the thwart one, or you take damage to confuse.
That's a great card.
It is a great one. Shake It Off is one that this is one you would take it while you would get the trait while you're in hero for in player phase, but then you carry it over to protection, and after a guardian takes damage, you can get a tough status card.
Or you made yourself an honorary guardian.
Yeah, or honorary.
Then of course Nowhere, which is a great way. You can increase your ally limit, and after someone plays a guardian ally, it exhausts Nowhere to draw a card.
For that player. So that one actually helps out the entire team if there's more than one guardian in the game. And then finally, the one that I really like here, though, is the Booster Boots, because you only actually need to be a guardian to play this, not to use it. But when you take any kind of damage, then you can exhaust them and prevent one of that damage. So it's a great way to help kind of limit the damage a little bit, and you don't actually have to be in protection to do it.
Yeah, but like the Avengers, I would recommend the honorary guardian so that you can keep utilizing these cards if you're building around it.
Yeah, and there's enough of them that you can actually get some use out of it doing that.
Yeah. All right, the next one is just another fun one. Inhuman, you don't get any benefits from it.
Yeah, but who doesn't want to share a trait with that adorable puppy?
Yeah.
I mean, look at that face.
Yeah. And I mean, well, I give.
He's a great card. I love that.
If you're Inhuman at the point, to the end of the round, so then Lockjaw goes away, and then you play him from your discard pile with team building. Hey, you can play
There you
one
go.
cheaper. So there, you can get a use out of it. And then this is just X-Force could be useful for the X-Force that we talked about before, but Mercenaries,
Just for flavor.
yeah, it's just another fun trait. And now the next trait, this is kind of interesting, is Psionic. So now you qualify, you can play only if you have the Psionic trait cards.
Or another one that would be really good, and it doesn't require you to be Psionic, but if you have Psionic, it's better, is Cerebrus.
Cerebro.
Yeah, Cerebro. You could play Cerebro, and that way it's out in play. If you don't have the trait at the time you want to use it, then you just use it for the lesser ability. But if you have the trait or can get it at that time, you can make it even better.
Right. And if you want some deck ideas, check out our Psylocke or Phoenix or Cable hero reviews. And
For some of the Psionic
we
cards.
go over all the Psionic, and then she qualifies for Power of the Mind and all that fun stuff.
Yep.
So Psionic is another trait that you could build around. All right, well, we already talked about S.H.I.E.L.D, but the other trait that Nick Fury Sr. has is Soldier. So this is a great one for
one card, very specific.
Yeah, only one card.
But it's a very good card.
Yeah, and you can play if you have the Soldier trait, you can get a 1-cost discount. But if you got this in your deck, it's like if you can time it where you've got Nick Fury Sr. and Mission Leader at the same time.
Yeah,
hey,
added benefit, but it's not going to necessarily, change the game for you, but
right. And if you have team building, then
in that, you get it for free.
Mission Leader for free.
Yeah, great card.
And not to be outdone by his father, you've got Nick Fury.
It gives you another fun keyword.
It's Spy.
It was actually probably a little bit more useful, to be honest.
Right. So what that one does is now you qualify for this card, Espionage, which play only if you have a spy character, which technically you wouldn't need to touch Nick Fury because just having him in play you would qualify for this card. But, hey, it's like, I don't need Nick Fury. Or, the other thing is, if another player has got Nick Fury in multiplayer, you touch their Nick Fury,
so
now you have the spy and you can play this. So like if your Nick Fury hasn't come out, but you're playing multiplayer and the other player's Nick Fury's out, then you could, play Espionage. So when the Surge keyword comes out, you get to draw 2 cards.
Yeah, and of course, in Justice, Justice specifically has several cards that take benefit from having a spy. So.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah,
there's a lot of Justice cards.
So in Dirk's world, 2 is a lot, apparently. So
what can I say?
This card, Breaking and Entering.
So Breaking and Entering is a great one. You can remove threat from a scheme. Fairly, 2 costs to remove 3 threat, but you can only play it if you have Thief or Spy.
Right. And her ally, the Gambit ally.
The Gambit ally is a Thief, I believe.
Yeah.
So I would have to. Oh, I don't have him out.
Yeah. So there.
Isn't he?
Rogue's deck.
Where is he? Somewhere. Yeah, there he is.
I think he's a thief, right?
Gambit is an X-Men. He's
Oh,
not
it's
a
an
thief.
X-Men. Oh, okay.
It's
So-
the other X. It's the
yeah,
other
it's the
Gambit.
other one that she can't play.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the nice thing with breaking entering is you can remove threat when you're an alter ego. And the other card is Spycraft. When you reveal an encounter card, discard Spycraft, cancel the effects of that card, discard it, then reveal another card from the encounter deck. Now, the nice thing with Touched is it lasts until the end of the end of the turn, I believe.
End of the turn. Yep.
Yeah. So this would happen during the villain phase. You would still be, you would still have the spy.
Well, it's an upgrade, so once you play it, it doesn't matter.
True, that is true. But I mean to play. Oh yeah, to play. You play it during the hero phase. That's true. All right, all right. And next we have another just fun trait. You don't. There's no benefit for being a symbiote.
That's what you think.
Except for that you can be, what is it? A cartoon vampire, a symbiote, I guess, right?
Soldier, cartoon, vampire, symbiote, cyborg.
Cyborg, yeah, cyborg. Yeah, you could be a cyborg, symbiote, cartoon, yeah, android. But what about Bob? You could be Hydra.
Well, yeah, and the funniest thing is you could actually touch a Hydra minion.
Hydra ally.
Well, no. Touch a Hydra minion to give yourself the Hydra trait to use the
team
building to play Bob one cheaper.
There you go. All right. So, anyways, I just wanted to throw in the line. What about Bob? All right. Another aspect that we just discovered, and I'm sure we've missed some, but we were going through the basic allies and forgot all about Mystic. Mystic's another really good one for her.
Oh, yeah.
So, like Brother Voodoo, for example, well, Avenger we've already talked about, but the Mystic trait would allow you to qualify
for Sorcerer Supreme. So you get +1 hand size when you're in hero form. So, of course, that's a phenomenal one to get.
Right. Now, there is no honorary mystic, so this one is a little trickier because there's a lot of events that you have to be a mystic, so you almost have to touch Brother Voodoo like every turn. But you can get
you get the basic spell. That's a great one because you've got some variety of different things you can do with that one. You get the Blood Gem. Now, the Blood Gem is kind of, it's a little bit more expensive than Clarity of Purpose, but it can be used in any aspect. It does cost you 2 health, though.
Right, but so this is an upgrade, so you have to be a mystic to play it.
But not to use it.
Correct. But the rest of these cards, you would have to be a mystic to use them.
So the Spiritual Meditation, this one increases your, well, it doesn't increase. It gives you additional cards. You draw 2, and then you choose and discard 1 card. Does not have to be one of the ones you drew. And then, of course, you've got the one in each aspect. You've got the Magic Attack here, which, of course, obviously is the attack card. You have the Zone of Silence, which is the thwart card. You have the Summoning Spell, which allows you to get a minion, or an ally, I mean.
An ally.
That's what I meant. And the Shield Spell, which obviously shields. So, yeah. What?
It's not the
it does.
Aspect.
It shields you, though.
Yes, but you can take no damage from an attack.
It shields.
All right. We're done. Oops. And another fun trait that's coming soon to a game store near you is the Bird trait that's coming in the upcoming Falcon.
Not a bird.
Right. So now you could be a cartoon bird vampire.
Cyborg.
There you
Mystic.
Go. Yep. Well, Mystic's actually...
We can keep going.
Mystic's actually useful.
Yeah, I know.
So what this all leads around to is the long way of getting more uses out of this card.
Team building exercise. A great card, but man, if you can get all these different keywords, it makes it even better. Because all you need to do is share a keyword with the next card you're playing.
Right. And, you know, then you get like throw all the different honoraries on her, so she qualifies for everything. This is, you know, my not probably a very efficient deck, but a Jane of all trades.
Yeah, keyword soup.
Right. But
there you go.
The thing is, so I could team up with Falcon and with the strength and diversity card. See, so I could provide like 8 traits. Here you go. For the strength and diversity player. There you go. All right. Well, anyways, so that was a rogue hero review with some of the fun traits that she can get and some of the crazy builds. Some of the traits like Avengers and Guardians, Champions, those have a lot of really good uses.
Some of them very limited uses, but like in the case of Soldier, it's a good card.
Yeah. And then some are just for fun, like
Yeah.
Vampire and Cartoon.
And of course, touching the villain, you're probably not getting any traits that are going to help you, but they're
No.
still fun.
Yeah, but I mean, you can still get Brute. You could be the Brotherhood of Mutants. You can be part of Batroc's Brigade.
Maybe the Electric Hellfire Club.
You could be Batroc's Brigade. You can, you could be AIM. Those aren't going to give you any benefits except for just to say that you are those.
Bragging rights.
Yeah, and I guess technically you've got those. Well, no, that you for strength and diversity, I guess, if you wanted to throw some more villain traits in.
Hey, there's still keywords.
They're still
Keywords is keywords.
They're still trait. All right. Well, anyways, thank you for watching, everyone. Please like and subscribe.
And if you want to see new content by us when it comes out, go ahead and hit that notification bell, and you will get alerts whenever we post up new videos.